Hello everyone, welcome to Card Making Fundamentals. My name is Tina Smith and I will be your instructor for this month's classroom. We are going to create with lesson kit number 4 of the Ahoy There Classroom. So I'm so glad you're here today. I hope you are enjoying the projects we've been creating. Today we're going to create our final card for this classroom, and this is kind of a universal card. So we're going to jump in and get started. I already pre-scored, well, it's already pre-scored, but I already folded my card base, so this is ready to go. We're going to take our last lesson, and we're going to go ahead and jump in. And for this classroom, before we get started, I always almost forget, but we're going to need an acrylic block, your scissors, we're going to need your glue, the basic supplies that we've been using all along, and then we might need a craft pick. Just have that on hand just in case. So basic supplies again: glue, scissors, block. You'll need a stamp chamois or a baby wipe to clean off your stamp after we get done stamping. So let's remove everything from our lesson kit. Keep your bag again. And then we're going to start by taking our background anchor and polka dots. We're going to adhere that directly to our card base. So let's do this first. Make sure your anchors are right side up. And then we'll add this to our card base, centering it. And you'll see it does leave a little bit of a border. And I got mine crooked. And I'm going to tear my paper, darn it. Good thing is the paper is very nice, thick paper, so if I tore it a little bit, but I think we can remedy that. Let's center this on our card base. And after we have this done, we have a few elements here. We have these two pieces, a diamond shape and a banner shape. We're going to set these aside. We're going to take our stripe paper, and then in our kit we should have a strip of our burlap left over. Let's grab that. We're going to take what's left over of our burlap, and we're going to trim it in half. We're going to kind of stretch it out a little bit. And I got a little crooked, but that's okay. Take your straightest edge, remove one of the strands, and then we're going to take our stripe paper, flip our stripe paper around. We'll remove a strand from this one also, if we can. There we go. Okay, we're going to take our double-sided tape. We're going to add some double-sided tape to the very top of our stripe paper, and then to the very bottom. Make sure that's secure there too. Using your craft pick or your scissors, you can kind of lift up the release paper and we'll remove this. And then we can add our burlap. Kind of want to find the prettiest edges, and you want about, I say, maybe a little over 1/8 of an inch showing on the top, and then also a little bit showing, about the same amount on the bottom, about a little over 1/8 of an inch, but less than half. And then any excess overhanging we are going to trim off. It's a nice way to stretch the leftover burlap we have. And then we can just toss that. Now we're going to flip over our panel. Well, let's open up our embellishment bag next and grab our blue and white striped ribbon. Let's take this. which got caught up here. And then I'm going to add a thin bead of glue, and we're going to add this to the center of this panel. If you want to add glue to your ribbon, it might be easier to do that. Oops. Okay, and then we'll flip this around and add this to the center of our stripe paper. Like so. Let's zoom in. And then we can flip it around. Using our tape runner, we can add some tape to the left and to the right. And then we can just fold over our ribbon. And then this little panel is good to go. After we have this done, what I'm going to do is take one of our foam strips, just because that burlap has a little bit of height to it. I just want to make sure that this doesn't sag down on our card. So let's take one of our thin strips, and we're going to add this to the inside middle piece. We're going to add another one of our panel here, kind of going over our ribbon, because that's going to add extra bulk. And I think this is going to help level it so it'll be nice and flat. Okay, and then we can remove our release paper. And we can add this to our card base. This is going to go on the very top of our card base, about 3/4 of an inch from the very top. And then we'll press that down, and it should be nice and flush. I'm going to go ahead and put my foam tape back. Now we have our little window frame, and then we have a piece of pattern paper that will fit right behind it. Using our glue, let's go ahead and add our frame to our pattern paper. You may have a little bit overhanging. If you do, you'll want to trim that off with your scissors. I scooted it over a little bit more so I can see some of those anchors. We might cover them, but let's trim off the excess. And I have a little bit over here too. Okay, so our little photo frame is good to go. After we have that done, we're going to take some more of our double-sided tape. I'm using this because I think it's going to be super strong. I want to put 3 rows on top, and then on the bottom we have some leftover foam circles. I'm going to put 2 foam circles, actually put 3 on the bottom. 3 and 3. And then we can go ahead and just remove the release paper off of our circles and our tape. Lovely. I hope you all had a beautiful Father's Day. We're going to go ahead and add this to the center. We're going to center it. Now, yeah, we'll center this on our card base. So your double-sided tape is on top, and then your foam circles is on the bottom, and we should stay pretty much level. After we have our window frame adhered, let's continue. Let's empty everything from our embellishment bag. Okay, and we have some circles too. Let's stamp our sentiment on our white circle. So I don't want to get ink on that. So I'm going to put that aside. We're going to grab our acrylic block, and then in our stamp set, there's a sentiment that says way to go. Let's take this out. And we'll go ahead and put this on our acrylic block. Before we stamp this, inside of our embellishment bag, there is a a little less than half of circle of striped paper. Let's go ahead and adhere that to the top of our circle. This way it'll be a little guide for us. I'm just going to use my tape runner for that. And this is going to go on the very top, just following the curve of the circle. Okay, then we can go ahead and ink up our sentiment. And the way to go has a very straight edge, so that's going to go just below our stripe paper. So we'll ink this up. And then we'll stamp this. Again, straight edge just below the pattern paper. And it should just flow beautifully. It goes in that circle like perfect, doesn't it? Let's put our ink away, and I'm going to grab some wipies and we'll clean off our stamp here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this back. We used every single sentiment in here, which is really nice. And you'll notice the ink does leave your stamps a pink tone. Kind of pretty. Happy accident, huh? Okay. We have our way to go, good to go. And way to go, good to go. Sounds. I'm going to flip this panel over and we're going to add some tape behind it. And we're going to adhere this to our target paper. So we have a little bit of a red edge. After we have our sentiment good to go, we are going to finish off with these. You're probably wondering, what are these? But we're going to make some little flags. I thought it'd be fun to create our own flags. Since we created a lighthouse, we've created a porthole shaker, I thought we would create some flags. To create them, it's very easy. You're going to go ahead and flip over each of these. We're going to add some adhesive using your tape runner, and we're going to go over the back side of the diamond and the banner. They're going to take one of the toothpicks or the wooden sticks. It doesn't matter really which end, but I always like the prettiest end to be on the bottom. And then you're going to tack that down to the center of the diamond, like so. And then we'll do the same thing with our next toothpick. This is going to be a little bit harder to find the center, but it's just kind of eyeball it. We can fix that in a minute. Now what we're going to do is kind of fold it over, like so. But before we tack it down, you want to make sure that the points of your triangle are lined up here. And then what I like to do is, while I'm holding this, pull this down. And then you can kind of smush it. And then that will create a cute little flag. You can actually go back and forth securing it. And that's good to go. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to flip it over, but I'm going to make sure my points line up on top first. So you have kind of a loopy here. And then hold it, pull it down, and then bring your hand down. And then you can kind of smush it so it's nice and even on the top and bottom, and then your flag is good to go. And then I like to kind of turn it a little bit, securing that stick to your paper. So we have two little flags. Pretty easy peasy. Now we're going to take our sentiment. This is going to go here. So we need some foam adhesive. Do we? Yeah, we want foam adhesive. So let's flip this over. And we're going to add 3 of these here. Since this is going to overhang on this side, I'm going to add a half of one over here. I'll remove the release paper, and then I'm going to add the other half right on top. And then we can remove the release paper off of our circle. I'm going to add a little extra adhesive on that one side, and then we can tack this down. Make sure your line is straight on this side. Probably need one more foam circle. I have 2 circles left, so I'm going to put a big foam circle underneath here because it's sagging a little bit, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to carefully slide this extra foam circle underneath, and we're good to go. We have our little flags. We're going to take our leftover 2 circles, and we'll make sure your flag is facing right, your triangle one, and then we're going to take one of our foam circles and add it behind it. It should barely fit, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing. Make sure your banner is facing right, flip it over, and then we'll add a foam circle behind here. Let's add our triangle flag first, and we're going to tuck this underneath our sentiment here, and then we're going to remove the release paper here. You might have to trim down your stick if you can't get your I'm going to add this second one here too. If you can't get this to go under your banner, that's okay. You could always trim your stick down. Kind of do a faux tucking. Okay, then we have our second banner there. And then we have our little boat, or colorful boat. We're going to remove the release paper. I already put a foam circle behind it. And then this is going to go on the bottom here of our little window. Tap that down, and I think we are good to go. I'm not going to add any extra bells or whistles. If you do want to add something, there's a heart left over. Let me see. I have my little leftover bag here. You have a little heart left over. If you wanted to put a heart here, you could. I think you, or on your flag you could, but I like the way it is. There's a lot going on with the wood texture. But that finishes our final project for today. Pretty easy card, but I like the way it turned out. Let's go over all of our, let's put this in our packaging, and then we're going to go over all of our projects that we created. We have a little bit of supplies left over, which is really nice. And I have a banner that's sticking over here. Looks good. So first, the supplies that we have left over, we have our tape runner. I don't know how much is left. Probably not too much, but we have that. We have our double-sided tape roll. And we have an anchor with a little bit of extra twine. Some foam, some skinny foam tape for other shaker cards. We have our stamp set. A little bit extra sand. We have some anchor embellishments. We have that extra lifesaver, which is nice. A few little extra brads. And then we have our little creasing tool, our ink, and then we have a little bit of leftovers from our kit to make another project if you want. I do have one foam circle left. You may not, but I have one foam circle left. And so you have a little bit of takeaway from the kit, which is always nice. And then the projects that we created this month, I had so much fun with. This is our little shaker, the sand, which I just still think this is adorable. So that's card number 1. Let's zoom out here, make a little room. And then we have card number 2, our lifesaver card. We have Enjoy Life, our anchor card, and then we have our Way to Go. So this is the Ahoy There Classroom. I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun creating this classroom with you guys. And every month our classroom is getting bigger and bigger, which I'm excited about, but it does take me longer and longer. But I am appreciative of you all. Thank you so much for joining this classroom. Have a fabulous rest of your month and rest of your week. Actually, weekend. And we will see you next month for another classroom. On the 1st of every month, a brand new classroom goes live. And that's when it goes up for sale. So kits, I always say, are limited in quantities. So once they're gone, they're gone. For example, I ran out of this card stock, so I couldn't make any more. That's why I can't reproduce the kits. When the pattern paper is done, it's easier for me to just create a set amount and then work on the next month's kit. So I hope you enjoyed the kit this month. Next month's going to be super fun. I'll see you on the 1st for an introduction of the July kit. Have a wonderful day again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.